Yeah. So I'm recording this video, y'all. Okay, hang on. I'm trying to zoom it in now. I don't know what's going on. Okay, maybe it doesn't let me zoom in. All right, so I'm going to zoom in over there. Don't trip. So this is going to get recorded. I'm recording it now. This is how I would, when I began learning astrology, this is what I did. So for instance, I'm going to use Aaliyah's chart. Why Aaliyah? Because I want to. She's amazing. She's beautiful. We kind of already know her life story. So, yeah, that's why I'm using Aaliyah. Okay, and I'm using a celebrity example, yeah, because their whole life is online. You know what I'm saying? I could just Google their information, okay? Okay. No, so my Patreon is my old name. So, yeah, I didn't change the name for a reason. Okay, so this is the natal chart. So when you go to, let me actually put it in another window. Yes, here we go. So when you go to AstroSeek, again, you go here, you type in your information. Once you type it in, bada bing, is going to calculate a chart. This is your natal chart. People don't understand. It's a map. So there's a legend to it. I always say, people, please understand that there's a legend and you can get more details. Every one of these degrees, they mean something and they reflect to your individual self. So what does that mean? Every degree, like for instance, this is a 19 degrees Libra right here. That reflects to her natal Libra house, okay? It's not, it talks about something about that, okay? Anyways, when I first started, I literally went house by house. Like I dissected my chart very slowly when I first started because I needed every little detail. So for instance, I started off with Placidus. I needed to understand, why do I have one house bigger than the other houses in my chart? I had like fifth house. My fifth house is really big, right? And my 11th house is really big. I'm like, why is that? So I started diving into astrology, celebrity charts. And this is the example. So for instance, Aaliyah has a big first house and a big ass seventh house. I mean, it makes sense. Why? Aaliyah's a celebrity. Usually when you look at a celebrity's chart, they're going to have a big first and seventh house because they use their body a lot. They're known for their self, their body, their looks, whatever. You know them. They're famous because of how they look. You only recognize them because of their face. So this is Aaliyah's natal chart for those that are coming in here. She has a big first house. Makes sense, right? She is known for having beautiful eyes. That's one thing. So it's interesting that K2 is up here. And we have Pisces and we have 20 degrees. Now, 20 degrees is a Scorpio degree, which talks about her public image. And the reason I know this is a public image, because I know she's an Aquarius. But I'm just teaching you things that I know now, I'm later on. So every degree will take you back to the original place. Now, for those that are looking at it, what rising sign do you think Aaliyah is? So drop it in the comments and tell me what being that you looking at this image right now, what do you think Aaliyah's rising sign is? And I'm going to wait. Aquarius, correct. It is Aquarius. Now, most people are going to think what? They're going to think there is a Pisces. Why? See, some people said Pisces. It's okay if you think it's a Pisces. It's not a wrong answer. No, it's an Aquarius. Let me show you why. This is Placidus. Again, Placidus gives you more details and especially helps for transit. Again, if I go ahead and put it in whole signs. Why? If I put it in whole signs, now you're going to see the Aquarius, right? Now you're going to see the Aquarius rising. Everybody sees that now? Aquarius rising 22 degrees. This black line determines the starting point. This is your starting point. This black line is called the ASC, or the ascendant, or the rising sign, or the Lagna. Lagna is Vedic astrology for rising sign. Okay, so this is our starting point. It starts at 22 degrees Capricorn. So I have to back out. At first, we already know she died, right? We know she's dead. So we're not going to go into the 22 degrees in a fixed sign. What is a fix? These symbols out here determines the house. So this first house is ruled by a fixed zodiac sign of Aquarius, fixed energy. Aquarius is an air sign. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. Just want to let you know that. So the first house is determined by the black. This is our starting point, our black line, and it starts at 22 degrees Aquarius. That's what that's saying. There is 30 degrees of Aquarius. You see all these little lines right here? There's 30 degrees of them. But a Leah was born under the 22nd minute. That's what is going on, 22nd degree. And then if you go look, I think you see that little number on top of your 22 degrees? You see that little number right there that says 29? That's 29 minutes. So no lie, there could have been two people born at the same exact time at 22 degrees, but the minutes will determine everything. So that's 29 degrees in me, and there's 60 minutes and there's 60 seconds in a minute. You know what I mean? There's 60 minutes in an hour. Okay? So this is, for those that are coming here, I'm just showing you how to read your chart. So if you are coming to look for any readings, you could go to my YouTube. Again, YouTube, I've read everything for full moons, Mars and Cancer for April. So if you're trying to seek some answers, I would go into my YouTube. Anyways, so I am recording this live. So this is our starting point, right? And I'm going to go back to Placidus because I just want to stick to Placidus because a lot of you, you guys are not going to you're not going to do these extra steps. So she's in Aquarius rising, which means that Saturn is the ruler of her life. It's her chart ruler. It's where she's devoted into, what she's dedicated to, where her Sims character was focused on, lasered focus. Since it's Saturn sits in her seventh house Placidus, but it's the 8th house whole signs. How do I know that? Because if I back up from her starting point, Aquarius, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 zodiac signs away. Not houses, zodiac signs away. That's another way to determine it. So that means that if you look at this, you would be like, oh, she's a lot in relationships. She might be in her business. She's next to the moon. Very detailed, oriented, nurturing person. That's what they would tell you. The moon is the 5th house. She likes fun. She's focused on fun. That's what they would tell you. But if you don't put your chart in whole signs, right? If you don't put your chart in whole signs, you're not going to notice that the ruler of her rising sign literally goes into the 8th house of death and transformations and crisis, and on exposing intensity, magnetism, research, passion. Okay, the hidden, what's hidden. That's why Aaliyah dressed dark. That's why most of her attire was always dark clothes, because the ruler of her rising, it's not only Saturn. Saturn already rules the color black, but it's in the 8th house of where you can't see. It's the shadow, So for anyone who's coming in here, I am showing you how to read your chart. Just simple steps. So what am I doing? So right now I looked at every empty house has a planet that is being ruled by that sign. So when you look at a house, the area of life, this is the first house, the chart ruler. I'm looking at the zodiac sign. The zodiac sign is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is in the 8th. The modern ruler is in the 10th house, which is Aquarius. Uranus. So her chart ruler is ruled by 3 symbols, which is Saturn is the traditional symbol, Uranus is the modern symbol, and then the North Node or Rahu, it is a Vedic, it's the depositor. So both two energies that rule who she is in the 8th house and one is in the 10th house. And all her life, all we know from her is what she displayed. First of all, why is Aquarius ruled by 3 different energies? Let's break that down. Well, Aquarius is a complex being. There is a tradition to them. They're obviously ruled by time, right? And tradition. And there's some type, they actually, if you ever met an Aquarius, they actually have a whole plan and a system. They're very methodical people, right? But they have a unique sense to them. They're not as boring or dry as a Capricorn, right? Even though she's a Capricorn sun. But the ruler of her rising is what made her so spicy, and she's so enticing and magnetic, and people want to look at her because the ruler of her rising is in the 10th house. We want to look at her. That's what that means. There's two different sides to this. The North Node is because Aquarius is really ruled by an air sign. They have a quality of being light and communicative and friendly, but especially being a Saturn ruled energy, so she's more communicative than the Capricorn. That's why they have Uranus there. And then the North Node, they rule of the future. They're the ending. So the ending is surprising. It's unexpected because Aquarius is the 11th sign, which is the second to last sign, which the last sign is Pisces. So if you think about this as if the zodiac sign is a movie, right? The beginning of the movie is Aries. This is the 11th chapter right here, Aquarius. That's why they're not going to be simple people. That's why the last planets, when you get to the end, these people, notice what signs are ruled by two planets. Scorpio is ruled by two planets. Aquarius is ruled by two planets. Pisces is ruled by two planets. And if you've ever met these people in person, you know that Scorpio has a duality personality. You know that Pisces is a duality personality. You know what I mean? Same thing happens to an Aquarius. You ever met an Aquarius like, wow, you're so smart, but at the same time, you're this. You know what I mean? So there's a reason to it. There's always two sides to the coin. There's an inconsistency to them, which is magical, because guess what? Scorpio is the planet, or is the sign that rules transformation. You're not supposed to know what the ending feels like. Scorpio helps you to the ending. Like, that's really what it is, right? And then Pisces, it's known as the mirage, is the ending. It's like it's literally the last chapter of life, if you want to put it in that concept. Right? And Pisces is ruled by the deepest of waters, or the deepest of the subconscious mind, which is Neptune. So Pluto is the very deepness. This is our subconscious mind, while Neptune is more of like a spiritual energy. So for those that were wondering and trying to figure it out. Okay, so when I first started, obviously I didn't know this shit. Excuse me, I'm not trying to curse. But I obviously did not know all this information. So what I end up doing was, I go and I started exploring every little planet. I was like, okay, I started off like this. So I want you to notice how there's these aspects. So you ever seen your chart and they have all these lines? You're like, what do these lines mean? What are these little blue and red, and what are these lines right here? Like right now you wouldn't know, but the sun and Mars are conjoined together because they're so close together. Sun, Mars, and Mercury. So I'd go to I find more details. I hit custom graphics. I don't get enough details. I go to shape. It just tells me where everything lays out. I go to my aspect tables. I hit my list of aspects, right? And then they're going to give you what is called the main aspects. So what is this person, like the main, what is aspect? So that is when two planets contact each other, and they're actually in a dance. They're in a combination. So what does that mean? All these planets up here, if I show you that again, they're all dancing with each other. They're all somehow, all these little connections mean something, a detail. So if we go back down, again, this is Aaliyah. For those that are coming in, for those people that are coming in, I'm looking at Aaliyah's natal chart because we already know her life story, blah, blah, blah. So Aaliyah has the sun conjoined Mars, the sun opposing Jupiter, and the sun square Pluto. Let's slow down. Let's go back up and see that. So the sun conjoining Mars, right? The sun opposing Jupiter. Let's see how, mind you, look, this is what they're saying. Mind you, if you look, Capricorn, if you really look, Capricorn is actually at 25 degrees and Jupiter is at 5 degrees. Leo, these are not sister signs. You notice that? Notice how if you go down here, they tell you sun opposing Jupiter by 9-degree orb. That's what that means right here. So this means that sun and Jupiter are 9 degrees apart from each other. And if you go look, they are 25 degrees and 5 degrees Leo. From that is 26, 27, 28, 29, 0, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's actually 10. I don't know what they're talking about. So I guess they didn't count the 0. But they're not even together. Notice how you get tricked right away. See, you need to really, that's when you start learning. Notice how this is not sister sign, but the list of aspect is saying that this is felt. This is felt. Look, let me show you again. This is contacting Sun opposing Jupiter is at 9 degrees. Now, what does that mean? Let's slow down and see if we could get something out of that. So the Sun is who she is. Of course, we all know that Sun is our soul. Okay, Sun is part of our what are we trying to fulfill? That's why I'm a Libra, I'm a Capricorn, and this is who I'm trying to be. You're trying to showcase that. You want to let the world know I'm a Capricorn, I'm a Scorpio, that's your Sun. That's the Leo energy in your chart. And in this case, the Sun rules Leo. Leo is the 7th house. But if I count it, right, the Sun is from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 signs away. It's not a sister sign. Capricorns oppose Cancer. So why is this contacting? Mind you, the ruler of her 7th house, look. The ruler of her 7th house, which is partnerships, business, is leading into the 12th house. Is anybody paying attention to that? The ruler of her 7th house leads into the 12th house. And I recently spoke to you guys and I said, these are literally the worst places to have it in. But mind you, why is that? Well, for instance, her relationship with R. Kelly was a secret. Yeah, remember that? Right? Do you remember that? So her 7th house lands in a secret hiding house. It's a hidden house. And the relationship between her and R. Kelly is literally a secret. You know what I mean? So, and mind you, he basically groomed her. Now, let's keep looking at this. This is in the 7th house of partnership. She has Jupiter at 5 degrees Leo, retrograde. Retrograde just means that planet goes backwards. That means that throughout her life, Jupiter either went back into Cancer, or I don't know if she was born right when Jupiter was leaving retrograde, so it could go forward. I would have to do further analysis, but so far we know that her Jupiter is retrograde at 5 degrees. Mind you, we know who Aaliyah dated. She dated Jay-Z. She dated R. Kelly. She dated Damon Dash. Mind you, they're all Jupiterian people. They're all celebrities before her, right? Does that mean a person will find herself? So if somebody said, is the ruler of my 7th house lands in the 11th house, which I'm not going to keep going because then everybody's going to keep asking that. But again, the ruler of your 7th house got to give you some type of detail of that house. So if it was friends or you met him outside, you could have met him at a party. It depends on the ruler sign of this. But again, this is an industry, right? This is an industry where she was dating these people behind the scenes. Mind you, Jupiter sits here. Jupiter is the ruler of her 2nd house, which is family, which there's always been rumors that R. Kelly used to pay off her family. That's one. Jupiter rules the 2nd house of money. He probably gave her money, whatever. Jupiter also rules the 11th house of the audience and the world. Obviously, they went out with her. Even, no lie, they all dated Aaliyah literally at the same time. And they were all out, like, literally at the same time. And they were all, like, publicly seen with her, which is an 11th house thing, though. But that's a different talk. Because Jupiter is the ruler of the 11th and 2nd, right? So they contribute to her money, her wealth, her status. They did. They really did, honestly, because she became the baddest bitch. You feel me? After that. And was Lilith. Lilith rules dark desires. So R. Kelly, I mean, do you need to know anymore? Do we have to break that down? R. Kelly she dated R. Kelly and she's had the Lilith in the 7th house. Like, I mean, if a duck can quack, 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 quack. That's what that means. Lilith rules dark desires, sexual desires. You know, Lilith rules the mistress, the woman of the night, control. Wherever Lilith is at in your chart, that's a chart you can't even. You can't even unavoid that. You can, and you know what's interesting? And I'm quote me on this one. Okay, Selena Gomez has Lilith in her 7th house. If I'm honestly, her demise is gonna have some type of dark desires. When Selena passes on, her death is going to lead into some type of weird way. Why is that? Mind you, if you didn't know this, but in Vedic astrology, the 7th house rules one of the houses. When you pass away, one of the houses that you activate is the 7th house. And I would have to explain that another time. I have a book on that, blah, blah, blah. But I see it in Selena Gomez having her Lilith in the 7th house. So we're looking at literally Leah. She went on a trip. Remember, Leah passed away on a trip. She went to perform on a trip with her people. And that's what caused, you already know the rest of the story. Okay? Mind you, again, she has Uranus in the 10th house. She died on a plane? Did she die on a plane? Yes. She has Uranus in the 10th house. She died on a plane. Anyways, what else are we going to go down? This is all from, you know where I got all of this from? Because the sun is opposing Jupiter in the aspect. So I'm like, what about the sun is opposing her Jupiter? Well, how is that in opposition? Well, there is some dark egotistical thing that R. Kelly thought that he can have her or buy her, whatever the case. It was a control perspective, obviously. Why? Because Jupiter is like, and mind you, let's go into here. Let's look. So I like this website. It's called Astrology King. You can go and type it in just like this. This is why I wanted to come in here and show you this website. So this is how I learned how to look up every little detail. So I looked it up. So you'll type in Astrology King, Sun opposing Jupiter. And it's going to give you a little sermon or something. I don't want to call that. Anyways. Let me see. Hang on. Let me move there we go. Oh, sorry. Don't look at my little froggy. I'm living a Rahu year. This is actually a way of... Wow. By the way, Rahu or the North Node rules lizards. So I'm living in my annual perfection year. I am living a Rahu year, so I look at this guy every day. Maybe, control some of the matrix forces. So why do I do this? Because the matrix is ruled by the North Node, and I'm trying to protect myself from the matrix. And anyhow, okay? So when you go here, it's going to tell you Sun opposition Jupiter, right? And you're going to read it. Look what it says. It says Sun opposing Jupiter. Natal brings out extremes of Jupiter in your life, personality. Okay, let's slow down. Sun opposing Jupiter natal brings out extremities of Jupiter. Sorry if I can't read. You already know. This is interesting because on a flight, on a trip, which is a Jupiterian thing, right? We lost Leah. Mind you, this is an 8th house aspect. Let me count it again with you. From her sun or you can either count it from here. You can count it from the 7th house. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 6 houses away. It gives a karmic energy. That is a pending karma. If you count it from her sun, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It caused her demise, the end of her, So if we keep reading and let's see what else it keeps saying. And then I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to make the video too long and I want people to kind of whatever. Listen to it later. So there may be an internal struggle to control Jupiterian's expansive nature, which can show an inflated ego. She didn't have an inflated ego. Not that we know of from Aaliyah. It didn't seem like it. She was around, though, inflated egos. For instance, R. Kelly, Damon Dash at the time, he was definitely inflated. And we don't even have to start with Jay-Z. He kept it real quiet. He's an actual Sagittarius. So Jupiter rules Sagittarius energy. So over excessive pleasure seeking. Obviously, she's a celebrity. They overdo everything. Up and downs in life are possible concerning wealth, happiness, relationship. Maybe be difficult to remain happy, content during the growing pains. Blah, blah, blah. It's spiritual travel. Look, it brings about travel. Then what get out of here. All right, so I go back and I'm like, well, I literally do this literally by every single one. I went down each. I've read all of this on my natal chart. I went and I read all of this. Let's see. Yeah, tropical is very surface. I resonate with, yeah. Well, here's the thing. Tropical is not surface, it's more psychological. So it's good to read the psychology. You'll learn some things. It's not just technical. Vedic is a little technical. So like for instance, no, like what I just did there, mind you, this is her sidereal, this is her tropical chart. But what I just did, counting houses, that's a Vedic technique. Because remember, this is all math. Everything's mathematical. So once I did the little math, this is a math. So the energy of Sun and Jupiter is karmic for this person because it gives out 8th and 6th house energy. So let's do another one. She has Sun and we have Sun opposing Jupiter. She has Sun conjoining Mars. This is the strongest aspect. Let's look that up. So we're gonna go back. You're gonna type it in. You're gonna type in Sun. Hang on, we gotta type in Sun conjoined Mars. Okay. The numbers don't lie. It's just what it is. I'm just trying to show you. So I like to use both. Here, when you come into my channel, I'm all the time, you're getting read both ways. Because what's the point? Why play around with yourself? Like literally. Sun conjoined Mars, natal, makes you energetic, heroic, courageous, fierce, fearless. You are militant, warlike, and good organizing skills. Militant and warlike. Let me show you how Aaliyah looks. Militant and warlike. This is what we know her for. You know, look at her attire that she wore. Red. Mars is the planet of red. Military and warlike. Look at the things that Aaliyah used to wear when she wasn't dressed. Oh, I don't know who that is. I was like, that is not Aaliyah. I'm sorry. Okay. Look at the style that she used to wear. You see, this is, mind you, she's ruled by, that's what Mars, this is how Mars women look. They give off Mars ruled women. They give off and exude sexiness. That's what sexiness is. Mars rules sexiness. That's her. Now look at Selena. If you ever looked at Selena's another one. Look, Selena Quintanilla. Look, what do you think, if you looked at her, what do you think's her dominant planet? If you looked at Aaliyah, what do you think Aaliyah's dominant planet would be? And I'm going to whip out her chart. What do you think? From seeing Aaliyah's wardrobe, her energy, well, that's Selena. I don't know why that's J-Lo. I don't know why they got that in here. So, right, look, Selena, let me show you Selena's natal chart. So you could, just because I want to show you, prove a point about Mars real quick, I'm going to stick to Selena. I'm going to stick to Aaliyah. There we go. And then I'm out of here. But look at Selena. Selena, had a Mars in Capricorn. She was a Sun in Aries. They're ruled by Mars. Gorgeous. Exactly. The Sun, which is what we're seeing. Let me show you that again. Let's go back to Aaliyah's. Aaliyah's has Sun and Mars together. So Sun is how we're seen by the world. And then it's next to Mars. Exhibit A. You know what I mean? Militant. They're giving you Mars is raw, untamed, brash, bold, sometimes vulgar. Right. If you're passionate about asserting your identity, you will fight at all costs. If they give you, this is great information, highly sexual, the creative fire, the forceful speed of Mars. This is good. Now listen to this. When acting impulsive, there's the dangers of accidents, cuts, abrasions, injuries to the eye, and accidents. Hello. And look how we lost, Selena. Excuse me, this is not Selena, this is Aaliyah. Sorry, we're doing Aaliyah's chart for those that are coming in. We're doing Aaliyah. Yes, so everything is already written in your stars. This is why I was trying to tell you. Okay, so we're going to go back down. That's why Vedic will give you when it's going to happen, the precision, all that stuff. It takes a little longer to learn that. Then we have Sun square Pluto. Well, that was the strongest aspect. I like that for her, right? Then we have the sun square Pluto. Okay, so let's go look at that. Her sun squares Pluto. Okay, so let's, same thing. You're going to go back. You're going to type in square Pluto. Sun square Pluto. I think I'm going to do another one. I did the suns here. I would suggest doing this. This also describes your dad. So when I did this for me, because obviously I have a different setup, it definitely described my father and my mother. My mother's a Leo, which is kind of interesting. Okay, but when you come here, right, you read it. It says Sun square Pluto natal has an unsettling effect on personal relationships. Interesting. Relationships because of your intense nature. Again, she was groomed by R. Kelly at the age of 15 years old. Ego conflicts are likely because you like to be in control of the situations. When you, and mind you, for a 15-year-old, she had a lot of power. She had a lot of control for a 15-year-old. Like, you ever wonder why those celebrities that are young, like, how they be just having so much like fame and power and control? Because their son has to be in a very powerful energy. They have to have some type of contact with Pluto. Okay, so you ever thought about it? Like, think about those child actors. Like, how come you're famous at that age and not 36, you know? Anyways, okay, resulting, let's see, when you're out of control, your levels of agitation rises, and resulting in others feeling threatened. You will often have these power struggles, achieving harmonious. They're going to give you an example. Obviously, if this doesn't fit you and it's not you, think about who's around you. Because you're like, well, I'm not really impulsive. I'm not really that intense. But I'm like, yeah, you're not, but your dad is, or the people that you're around, the people that you work with. So you're always having, if you're the nice person and you're constantly being Sun square Pluto, that's because your energy is around powerful people that trying to control you. But you know, mind you, this is living out your secret taboos, sex life, occult addictions may expose you to the dangers. Mind you, she didn't have this. But guess who did? R. Kelly. Like, literally. So you want to go and do this with all your charts. So, like, for instance, like I said, I did it to mine. It really broke down my dad. Obviously, for everybody has a different story. Like, so I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna do another live on this. I'm gonna do the moons instead. Okay. I did the sun because we did a celebrity, you know, somebody we can see. I probably do the moon when I come back another time. But same thing. When I went aspect, let's see. When I looked at my chart, this is my chart, by the way, for those that are wondering. I looked at my chart and I looked at like, oh, well, world, how can I be seen? So if you looked at my chart right now and you wanted to tell me, Shirley, what is the job that you can do? Just by looking at your sun right here, just by looking at my sun, I have sun trine moon, I have sun square Uranus, and I have sun square Neptune. Just by knowing that, you don't know anything else about me. What would you recommend me? Right? What would you recommend me as the, you know, if you saw that, what would you recommend me? Like, what would you say to the person? Mind you, also, by the way, I'll show you my chart. That way you can see it. If you didn't know me, hang on, y'all. If you didn't know me, whatever, and you looked at me and you looked at, this is where my sun is. Look, let me show you that again. My sun is next to Jupiter and is at 12 degrees, right? And then, look, if you go to the rest of the person's thing, you're going to go down here. You're going to see sun trine moon, sun square Uranus, sun square Neptune. What would you tell them? Some kind of spiritual teacher. Also, the Neptune is recording, is videos. Uranus is technologies. Just don't even if you didn't know me, internet, a healer, okay. Dealing with people. That's right. Look, sun trine moon. That is correct. Dealing, and Uranus rules people, right? I don't have Mercury in Virgo. No, but that makes sense. But dealing with people, how can I see this in a chart? I'm on a website for mine. Yeah, so you're going to go, if you come here, you're going to get your chart. This is how the chart looks. You're going to click aspects table. You're going to hit the one that says list of aspects and it'll come down. Or you could literally just scroll down. You could leave it on birth chart and just scroll down. So all these little symbols right here, again, is part of your legend. It goes into your house degrees and then it goes into all the aspects. Okay? You know what I mean? A star seed. I tried to tell you. Thank you, Masi. Somebody said a star seed. No, I am not a Mercury in Virgo though. I have a Virgo degree, so yes, I can be a bitch. I like that. Anyways, thank you so much. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna end it. This is gonna also go back on YouTube, so you can listen to it later. It was a fun read.